Welcome to Black Belt Beauty Radio. Get ready. It's time to rise. Hey, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of Black Belt Beauty Radio. Today's episode is an extra special episode because it is my birthday episode. And I am absolutely that girl who loves to celebrate her birthday. And I'm so happy to be creating an actual episode for you released on my birthday. Number one, because I do love celebrating my life. And so, when my birthday is, coming onto the calendar, it's full celebration for me. Not necessarily in my partying, but just internally, I'm really just appreciating my life because I really do, And also I love creating in studio for you. So this feels like, a birthday gift that I'm giving myself by giving to you, if that makes sense, because I love giving to you. And the goal for me in this episode is to really just share some of my personal ideas and really my mindset around aging, because I actually get a lot of women who talk to me about aging specifically, whether it's, how to age better just from a physical perspective, but also I've gotten so many messages actually from women who really appreciate my perspective on aging, because on Instagram, I every now and then it'll come out, or on the podcast, it's come out where, I don't subscribe to getting older. I never have. I've never, ever, ever cared or focused on aging. What I have always focused on is potential. So throughout my life, it's never been this, oh, here's another year, I'm getting older. I've always looked at my potential getting better, and it's been my sole focus. Let's start with something that I think could be really, really valuable to many of you. It certainly is to me, and I'll tease out why. But first and foremost, I don't even, the word old next to the number, I have no connection. I have no connection to the word old when referencing my age, because there is literally no part of my being that feels old. Not my spirit, not my energy, not my body, not my mindset. Nothing feels old, right? What I replace the word with is strong. Everything about me does feel strong. And what's really cool about this, why I'm sharing this with you, is because when your perspective shifts from getting older to getting stronger, it actually changes your whole approach to your life. So recording this, I'm 44 years strong. You taking this in right now, I'm 45 years strong. So if your focus is every year, I'm getting stronger in mind, stronger in spirit, stronger even physically, to the best of your ability, stronger in your skill sets, just stronger. You have your soul is fortified. I mean, your whole lifestyle is going to become different. It's going to be geared to doing the things that are going to help you to become more fortified in all of these areas that I just shared, right? So that could be something that's really beneficial for you to start thinking about if you are someone who, tends to be feeling like you're getting older. And every year when your birthday comes around, you kind of shy away, back away, and, you're maybe that person. And this is not judgment. I'm saying this with so much love. But the person who's like, oh, I don't like to, you kind of want to forget that your birthday is even happening. I mean, look, life is finite, right? I mean, I do believe we have more than one lifetime, but I just haven't been, I can't confirm that, it's just a belief. But in this life, I mean, our days are limited, right? And to me, that's something that I think about very frequently. It's not morbid. It's this epic reminder for me to fucking keep going all in on myself every day, to bet on myself at such an extreme level, right? Because it's not a dress rehearsal. It's the real thing, and it's happening now. And, I'll never get this minute back for the rest of my life. Neither will you. And for me personally, that is something that pulls in a lot of appreciation, and inspiration for me. So, my whole life, I really have never been the girl who, as the birthdays were piling on and the years were coming on, I never focused on age or older. I always focused on my potential. When you are someone who's very driven to step into higher levels of your self-expression, to live a self-actualized life. And I believe that if you're listening to me or watching this podcast, that you are that person. You're someone that, whether you're deep in the game or you're trying to get there, the game being to live to these higher expressions of yourself, to live a self-actualized life, to live to your fullest potential. I mean, this is stuff that's going to keep you intrinsically motivated. This is, your whole directive and your whole focus in your life every single day is not going to even put you in the position where you're thinking about, oh, I'm getting older, like you're diminishing. No, because every day it's this new opportunity for you to keep digging, to keep moving forward to that next level expression of yourself. For me personally, I get up every day and I'm excited for the new opportunity that I get to experience, to learn more, to create more, to discover more, to become more. Really, I really, really am. And that doesn't mean that every day it's always like this high mood. No, you don't have to always be in a high mood to be intrinsically motivated to live your higher self-expression. That's actually really important to probably put out, right? Because you might be in a low vibe state, but that doesn't mean that that takes you away from being inspired to become a better version of yourself every day. And pulling it back into the whole aging idea is that when you are someone that's fueled in this way, I mean, this keeps you very young in a lot of ways. And look, this is also so important. We're out of here at some point, right? So I'm not trying to act as if that's not going to happen. I'm also not trying to say that, aging doesn't happen. The physical aspects of aging, of course it does. But I will say this, and I can say it so confidently, I'm in my 40s, right? And my lifestyle absolutely has keeping these more, the kind of common physical aging signs that we see. So forget about the inside, because that for sure, I'm beating that. But even in the physical sense, the lifestyle, the mindset is warding off a lot of these aging signs that we can see in even, this decade of my life. But for me, I'm so young, hopefully, I don't know. But if I get to live, upwards towards the 100, live strong, what is 45? Nothing. Like, it's really not, right? And one of the things that I think is so special about appreciating the process of climbing up these levels in life, right? That's another way you can look at your age. It's like level 44, level 45. I just really love strong behind the number, but it is truly a leveling up. You're constantly leveling up. That, again, that's a mindset perspective, right? If you're looking at old, I mean, yeah, you're shrinking. You're taking yourself down just from that very thought. But if you look at yourself as like, I'm leveling up, then you can imagine, like, what does that mean then? That means that every part of your being, which then also affects your life, is becoming increased. It's advancing. It's becoming, you're taking it to higher levels. And that's where you want to be living, In addition to that, one of the main ingredients to I don't even want to call it anti-aging, but just something that keeps these sort of typical aging qualities that we can see, in a lot of people. One of the biggest contributors to keeping more of a youthful spirit and appearance is to keep an open heart and to be playful. For those of you who, follow me on Instagram, see me on the stories, I'm always fucking laughing, and it's real. I mean, there's nothing worse than a fake laugh, maybe a fake handshake or a bad handshake. But the reason why it's so easy for me to be so, to laugh a lot and to have that playful energy is because of the open heart. And I really want to draw that connection. The open heart piece is huge. When you're closed, you're more stiff, and with anytime you're more stiff, more rigid, you're more fragile. And fragility, that rigidness, is a fast track to aging. Even if you're young by numbers, if that's your energy and your frequency, because that's what you're feeling inside, there's going to be a physical aged look that comes with that, right? But someone who is really open inside and, moves with more of this sort of free-spirited love energy is going to have a different radiance coming off of them. It's all energy, right? It's everything in life is energy. So that could be something to think about too. Where could you be more playful and more open-hearted in your life? And look, it can get hard as we climb up these levels because we're taking constant punches from life in a multitude of ways. So it's really easy to close your heart, as a measure to protect yourself. But one of the things I think is so badass is to be able to learn how to keep your heart open so you don't become that rigid, hands, like keeping people at arm's distance person, a closed person, but still have the most fierce boundaries and abilities to protect yourself when it comes time, if it comes time, right? I mean, I know that in my own life. I don't need to hold you back here, anybody, unless I feel that, right? I'm not going to close myself. I don't need to close myself to protect myself, because I know when it's time to protect myself, I will fucking show up and I will do it however which way I need to, right? So I love that nothing can come between me and my heart. And that energy, that openness is certainly a nutrient that keeps me younger, younger in spirit. And that spirit youth comes out and affects everything that, you get to experience, you, the world, everybody who's experiencing me, right? So again, like just thinking about where you're at, if, what can you do to incorporate more playful energy? This is the feminine energy. It's so fun. I can't imagine not just being so just drenched with my feminine energy and allowing this energy, this playful, supple, loving, nurturing, nourishing energy to just robustly move through my entire being. So just have a look, no judgment. I always say that. Trade the judgment lens for the curiosity lens and just investigate yourself and your life and, ask yourself, like, where am I being closed? Where can I open my heart more? Where could I be more playful? Where can I allow more of the feminine energy to just take over and fill me up with this free-spirited, lovable, supple, playful energy, and really think about it like an anti-aging, or age like a badass nutrient. And that's a good segue to what I also want to talk about, which is this tagline that I've come up with quite some time ago already, but to age like a badass. So, we've heard age gracefully. And for me, I'm like, that's cute, but I'm going to save the grace for my spirit and my character. I want to age like a fucking badass. What does that mean? That means spirit strong, mindset strong, cognition strong, physicality strong, heart strong, intention strong as I climb up the levels of my life. No diminishing. Even when the wrinkles start to come on, even when the wrinkles start to come on, you're still becoming more fortified. Your self-expression is becoming more magnetic. And then there's the actual physical part, where I want to be able to get out of my chair without help in these much later decades of my life. I want to be strong and do push-ups and, be running and be physical. I want to be able to be sharp in my cognition and my brain, and the trajectory of your aging is it's so important to pay attention to. It really is. I can't say enough about, and I'm not going to turn this into a biology class, but it would be so easy to do it because I'm so passionate about this. But your lifestyle and your choices right now are affecting how you're aging. And, aging a lot of times, like these later decades, most people aren't really thinking about it too much. It almost seems like, like it's like a movie that you watch, but it's like, until you get there, it almost feels like you're never going to get there. But that's not the truth, I feel very fortunate that through my lifestyle and through my choices, that as a woman in my mid-40s, I can honestly say that I'm kicking Roxanne in her 20s and her 30s ass. Like seriously on every fucking level. And that feels really good to me. And I loved Roxanne in her 20s and in her 30s, but I love that I can be in a position right now. And that's not just positive thinking and me trying to make myself feel good. No, that's an actual truth. I can't look at one facet of my being and go, oh, well, actually back then, you were doing a little better. Not at all. And I want to keep that going. So this is aging like a badass. It's like, and what do we really need? What's the most important ingredient to be able to accomplish this? It's like classes in session. What's the most important ingredient? Fucking self-love. Self-love. Self-love is everything. Self-love is where your self-esteem, your self-respect, your self-worth, your self-compassion, all of that lives in your self-love, right? And it's like the precursor to self-confidence, to your self-trust. It's so important, right? So self-love is going to help you to create the behaviors that create the habits, that create the lifestyle, that curate the lifestyle, that have you on this, pathway of aging like a badass. You have to care. It has to fucking matter to you more than anything else. And I can say that with a lot of conviction and a lot of compassion. I remember my early 20s. I remember I always had the intention and always had that drive, to just become better. But that didn't mean that I always had the habits or the behaviors yet instilled. I didn't have all the tactics and the tools. What I had to do is really dig into my self-love, to fortify my self-love so that I can, attain the tactics, the tools, and, all the intangibles that I needed to curate this lifestyle, to really get to this place where I'm fucking dialed in, but I cannot I can't see any of this happening without the self-love piece, because it literally has been the strongest and still to this day is the biggest driver. When things get really hard and it could be really easy to, my lifestyle's dialed in, training and food. There's no thinking about it. I don't have to like kick my ass to do this or that. But to get to that point, self-love. Yeah, it wasn't always like that. You know what I mean? So I here's an invitation for you to really, really check in with yourself and your self-love levels. And, again, no judgment, curiosity, and just ask yourself, like, how are you loving yourself? And how is that self-love showing up in all the areas of your life that matter to you? And I can promise you, wherever there seems to be a discrepancy or some kind of struggle in some way, whether it's, any area of your life where you're desiring more You're desiring to do better, but you just can't seem to get to that place. You got to check in with your self-love. And remember, self-love means self-worth, self-compassion. You could be really judgmental on yourself when really what you need is to be more compassionate. And that's going to allow you to move forward in that area, right? Self-respect, what are your boundaries doing? All of that lives in the self-love piece. That's why it's a core topic of mine. And that's why it is an absolute, one of the most essential nutrients to, just moving through your life, aging very powerfully like a badass, right? Something else that's so important to insert here in this conversation, because this has been a huge factor for me, and it really ties into when I was talking about I've never been someone to focus on the aging, getting older. I've always been someone who's been very inspired by my potential increasing, developing more of my personal self-expression so that I can create more, so that I can experience more. I can learn more about myself as I move through life. The big insertion that has to come in here is your future self. And for those of you who are newer to me and to my podcast, and maybe you haven't heard me talk about your future self, but it is a core subject of mine. It's something that I'm always speaking and writing about in my own life. The relationship that I've developed with my future self, which my future self to me is my highest self. So kind of interchangeable names. But the reason why I choose future self is because my future self is not just me 5 years from now, a year from now, 10 years from now. It's this highest expression of myself that I'm very, very clear on, that I have a very clear connection with because I've done the work to build that connection. But she's always leading me. She's always in front of me because she's the blueprint. She's my North Star. She's designed to be leading me, right? Because I'm chasing her character, her qualities, right? So not even status or anything like that. Sure, her lifestyle, I can feel into that. I can see her lifestyle, but her lifestyle doesn't make her who she is. She makes her lifestyle. So I chase her character. And nothing in her character is foreign to me. It's all me. It's just expanded, fortified expressions of me. And having that very clear vision of her. And for me, in my world, she's also called my muse. I don't just have a vision of her. I actually have a connection with her. I speak to her every day, especially in meditation, but throughout the day too, This is such a powerful player in how I am moving through the years of my life, how I'm aging, It's so important to understand that who you are is shaping your life. So getting a very clear vision and connection with your future self, your highest self, however you want to call this expression of yourself, it's everything, and it changes the game because when you have this clear vision leading you, all these a lot of things will change in your life, right? I mean, even you, obviously, you're going to continue to evolve, especially as you're, moving towards becoming her. She's always evolving, so you always got to step up your game. But it's so powerful to have this expression of yourself very dialed in your mind, in your heart, because it anchors you on your highest path, right? So your future self, your highest self, anchors you to your highest path. So when you're pursuing the becoming of her, you're anchored on your highest path because you are the path, right? So you are the path. So you want to get very, very clear on who you are becoming. And this is really inspiring shit. You're not going to care about how you're aging when you're always just, driven towards your becoming. You're not thinking about aging. You're thinking about your becoming. And it just changes every single minute of your life because you wake up and you're literally just thinking about how you can increase your self-expression, how you can live your way into the embodiment of this highest expression of yourself, your future self. So important, and that, again, that's been vital for me. That's been one of the biggest players. And I can honestly tell you at 44, 45, it's 45 when you're taking this in, I'm so excited because the vision of my muse is so profound and so incredible. And I feel a deeper connection with her. I've been very active with this relationship for years now. I created a digital course on your future self because it's so important when you learn about this concept that I'm sharing, and then you learn actually how you can create the vision and connect with her. It changes everything. In the show notes, there is a link for you who are interested in the digital course. Go check it out. I promise you, this is one of my life's greatest work. This, not just the course, but the book that's coming, the bigger talks that are coming, because I can honestly tell you, and psychologists agree. The future self concept is not my original concept, but my kind of take on it and how it arrived in my life is definitely unique to me. And it definitely evokes more of this kind of mystical connection, but it's such an important piece to thrive in life from within and out. Your self-identity shapes your reality, right? So you want to get very clear on who you are and who it is that you're becoming. And again, pulling it into the whole, idea around how you're aging. When you're really inspired by that vision of your future self, you're going to get up every day and be inspired to do the things that are necessary to become your future self. And that's sacred purpose work. It's huge. So yeah, definitely check out the course. I love this conversation. I'm going to do more and more episodes on your future self because, again, I want to support as many of you as I possibly can to live to your highest self-expression, to become self-actualized, to develop an unbreakable relationship with your authentic self and self-love, and this is a big piece to how you do that. So it's a big conversation for me that I will continue sharing here. So I gave you a lot in this episode to think about, hopefully. Yeah, and I'll close this episode by saying thank you. I truly, truly am someone who loves my life. I love the highs. I love the hards. When I'm really challenged, there's just not a day that goes by where I don't say thank you. And that's a truth. That's an absolute truth. Even when I'm facing challenges, I'm like, thank you, because I feel worthy of it. I'm not here to play small. I'm not here to suppress myself. I'm here to fucking express myself. And in order for me to really come into my fullest expression, I got to go toe to toe with a lot of challenges. And I'm here for it every single day. So there's gratitude for the challenges too. And as I step into my 45th year of life, I'm really coming into it so inspired, so just elevated. I've been on such a gnarly path of ascension in the last year, even specifically, which is so exciting because I feel the bigness of what is coming for me, what's here for me, and now my work is just it's already here in my reality. My job is to bridge my inner reality to make it my entire reality. So I'm very clear on this inner reality. And that, again, that goes back to the future self piece, right? Because my muse, who's also my ride or die, my partner in this journey of life, she's so crystal fucking clear to me. And every day I just get to get up and focus my life on how I can further become her. And it's a beautiful, beautiful experience for me. And it's an experience that's actually helping all of you who get to take in everything that I'm sharing, because she's literally, she's it, man. She's the one helping. She's helping me show up every day the way that I am and the way that I get to show up. I mean, part of that showing up is also for you. And what a beautiful honor that is. So yeah, I'm honoring myself for sure on my birthday and excited for everything that's going to come. Lots of mystery. And I'm personally a woman who loves mystery. So I hope that this episode offered you some thought seeds that could be really supportive to you wherever you are in your life, whatever your age is. Like, fuck age. It's all about energy. Keep focusing on how you can increase your energy. Keep focusing on how you can get stronger in all of the areas of your life that are important and that matter to you. Keep focusing on your potential, and take the best care of yourself. Absolutely. In the physical sense, 100%. It does feel good to be in a body that feels strong, that feels capable. It does feel good to have a sense of radiance coming off of your skin and to, just to feel beautiful, whatever that is to you, and in this life, we got to do our part to bring that in, to make that happen, to do, eat the foods that support that, do the movement that supports it, get the sleep, like be around certain people that support that, right? So definitely do your part with that as well, because that is a big form of self-love as well. And that's, I'll end on that. Definitely constantly investigate. Where can you open your heart more? Where can you be more playful? Where can you fortify more of your self-love and all of the tiers of selves that I've talked about that live in self-love? Because once you do that and you develop an unbreakable relationship with this self-love within you, you're going to move through life on a whole different frequency. And I want that for you. So let me know what you think about this episode. If you're watching on YouTube, put something in the comments, any feedback, any, big takeaways. I'm on Instagram. Roxy Look is my personal, also at Black Belt Beauty. But if you want to connect with me, hit me up in the DMs on Roxy Look. In the show notes, check out a link where you can get into my email tribe. So my email tribe, listen, if you're in there, I send love letters. I send information that I think is really supportive to fortify you in all the ways that I've talked about in this episode. There's a link to join there. And don't forget, Future Self digital course. This is womb work for me. This is such an important piece of my mission here. That link is also in the show notes for you to check out. So, and last but not least, if you have not given this podcast a 5-star rating review, please take a moment to do it. Subscribe to the channel. There's a link in the show notes for you to do all that. And thank you so much for being here with me, for being a part of my life that I love so much. And I will catch you on the next one. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode, you guys. If you loved it, please share it on your social. Throw it up on your Instagram stories and tag me. I'm at Black Belt Beauty. I am also at Roxy Look, RoxyLook. I love connecting with you guys. This is a conversation that I want to just continue growing with you guys. So if you feel inspired to hit me up, do so in that space. I always enjoy hearing from you. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so by rating it and reviewing it via iTunes. It's such supportive help, you guys. It really helps the visibility of this podcast. So I appreciate and thank you in advance for doing that. And on that note, you guys, I'm signing off with all my love and always looking forward to catching you on the next.